Hey there, School Believers. If you're feeling burnt out, stuck, or like your spark is running on empty, you're not alone. But here's the thing, you don't have to stay that way. What if you could wake up with a genuine excitement instead of hitting that snooze button 5 times? What if you could tackle the day with the kind of energy you had when you were younger? My friends Spencer Jones and the team at Chosen For are leading something truly powerful called the Energy Sovereignty Bootcamp. This is a short, high-impact experience designed to help you reclaim your energy and finally feel like you again. The real you. The energized, motivated, unstoppable version of yourself that you know is still there. Here's what makes this different. Spencer isn't just talking theory. He's walking you through proven strategies that has helped thousands of people break free from the exhaustion cycle and tap into sustainable, natural energy that doesn't crash at 3 p.m. Spots are limited, and this bootcamp fills up fast. So if you're ready to stop just surviving and start thriving, head to esbootcamp.wearechosen4.com right now and grab your spot. Don't let another day slip by feeling less than yourself. Your energy sovereignty starts now. All right, School Believer, let's get across the start line with a Where the Heck Are They Now episode featuring Leslie Fiorenzo. Let's go! Are you ready to unlock your entrepreneur potential? Are you ready to break free from all the barriers holding you back? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, your first step in getting across the start line. Let's get across that start line together, right here, right now, on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur.
Who else can share your story? No one else can share your story. And stop waiting for timing to be right, because timing will never be right. You just have to take the leap of faith. And if you're being pushed, if the universe is calling, whatever term you want to put on it, if you've been given an assignment, I think we're all given an assignment that we feel, and you need to act on that.
Salutations, School Believers, and we are here again with another Where the Heck Are They Now episode. Today, we're following up with Leslie Fiorenzo. You might remember her from some of the commercials I put in my podcast. But hey, Leslie, it's so great to see you again.
It is great to be back and see you again too, Jesse. I can't believe it's been a year.
I know. It's like time went by so quickly. I just can't believe it's been a year. I think episode 73. Episode 73 wow. is when our first one. I'm like, I don't know, 100 something or other. But yeah, it's been a year. It's amazing how time flies, doesn't it?
It is. It is. When you're having fun, especially, right?
Oh, yeah. Especially when you're doing what we're doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So one thing I'd like to ask you in this whole year that we've been together here, I'd like to know, are you still a school believer? Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for continuing to be a school believer, Leslie. You're amazing. Thank you so, so much. All right. So if this is the first time you've heard of Leslie and you didn't get a chance to listen to her other episode or the first episode, I'll definitely have a link to that in the show notes. But this is your first time meeting. Let's give them just a quick rundown of who you are and what your entrepreneur adventure is.
So I'm a presentation coach. And so what I do is I help people take the confidence they have in one-to-one settings to bigger stages. And that might mean a stage, literally, or it might mean their team meeting. It might mean a group at a networking event. It's having the confidence to share their story in a way that gets people to say, oh gosh, tell me more, or energizes their audience to do what they need to do, especially if it's a team meeting.
Awesome. And how long have you actually been doing that for now? Because I know when we first started talking, you've only been doing it for a little while. So technically, how long have you been doing it now?
So technically full-time, almost a year. A year ago at this time, my husband and I were on a road trip to celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary. I had retired from my full-time job, and then we were gone for 4 weeks, and I came back mid-June and focused full-time on growing my business.
Fantastic. Now, do you remember we talked about following up with a few goals that you had set for yourself in the last podcast? So we're going to see how you did here. So one of the things that we talked about was that you actually doing this full time. So did you actually reach that goal?
Yes, I did reach that goal.
Fantastic. That must feel amazing to be able to do something you love so much to be able to do it full time now.
Yes, it's great.
All right. And the other one was a course. You said you were in kind of like just getting started with making a course. And did you finish that course?
Yes, it's 5 steps to speaking success. And I took my course and turned it into a book, which is available on Amazon if people are interested in that. But it's designed to help people who struggle specifically with public speaking be a confident speaker. And again, I said that earlier. Speaking isn't just necessarily for stages. It could mean I don't like to network, but I know I need to network and I don't know what to say or do. Or I want to be a better team leader. I want my team meetings to get people excited. People don't usually show up for work and say, "Oh, I hope there's a meeting today." So I would like team leaders to have their team say, "Yeah, this was a good use of our time."
Yeah, it's not always just, I mean, if you're standing in front of one person, you're speaking. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I find myself speaking in the mirror sometimes, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to say things.
Yeah.
But all in all, if you're talking to somebody else, you're on your own little dinky stage, whether it's just like a little 2x2 square that you're standing on, or a big stage that has a screen behind you with lights and confetti or whatever it is going on.
Exactly.
So you can use these tools that you have in your book and in your programs to improve you being able to speak and get your point across. Is that right?
Exactly.
All right. That's awesome. Thank you for that. And if you want to see Leslie's book, we'll definitely have a link in the show notes for you to take a look at, possibly buy that on Amazon, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'd like to know here, getting back to you now in the last year, what has been the most memorable experience you've had in the last year putting this all together?
I don't know if it's the most memorable, but the first thing I thought of was I figured out a DBA because launched my business. My attorney said, just file your business paperwork with Leslie Fiorenzo Enterprises and you'll figure out a DBA. And I was like, okay. And I just went for months and months. And then I was it wasn't a podcast that I was listening to, but I think it was an online networking event. And the woman who was a social worker, psychologist, therapist of some kind, her business name, it was her last name, Therapy Solutions or something. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Business Speaking Solutions. So that's my DBA.
And just for the new entrepreneurs, the DBA stands for?
Doing business as.
Okay, awesome.
I think that's what it stands for.
It sounds good to me. I mean, the letters fit, so why not? But I recently had to do kind of something similar too, where I had to come up with a name for for the business side of what I'm doing, and I put together Undiscovered Legacies because I figured that was kind of neat because everything I'm doing is all kind of like a new discovery, and anybody that's never discovered it yet is discovering it for the first time. So Undiscovered Legacies seem to fit so well. So
yeah, that does fit. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. So
I know and what was interesting because I thought, oh, surely this is probably taken as a URL. Somebody's probably got that and my attorney did a search. He's like, no, it's yours. I'm like, really? So I bought the URL on GoDaddy and I redirected it to my current website, which is just my name.com. So yeah, it's all working. It seems to be working out.
You're definitely going in the right direction, Leslie. Everything seems to be going well for you so far.
Yeah. Most of all, I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I think I'm making a difference. So
well, you definitely make a difference for anybody that really needs help because being able to do public speaking in one way, shape, or form, that's going to have a direct effect on how successful you're going to be being able to talk to somebody in the right way. I mean, if we're talking to someone, we're going, it's not professional, so being able to get those words out, which sometimes is hard for me.
Oh, me too. You heard my...
It's really important to be able to do that so you can get your point across to people.
Yes. So I do work with several of my clients on what we call filler words because words, the ums and the ands, but there's also some words that I'll say idiosyncrasies that creep into someone's language. They're using them as, I will say, a crutch, and it interferes with their ability to communicate.
I think my least favorite word that I used to use was, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because when you say, you know what I mean, it's like, no, I don't know what you mean because you haven't said anything yet. So when I first look back to some of my very first episodes, I used to say, what was the word I always said? Actually.
Oh, actually. Okay.
And let me tell you something. I said actually a lot because I was afraid people wouldn't take me seriously. I'm like, this is actually what's going on. And then it just kind of crept in there every once in a while now. I'll still catch it every once in a while, but I've gotten a little bit better at it.
Well, Jesse, it wasn't until I started transcribing or using a tool to transcribe the videos for my YouTube channel for closed caption that I realized how often I was starting sentences with the word so.
You'll always know, and that's the thing for me too. You always know when I'm about to go into another subject or a new question because I always start with so. It's annoying, but for some reason, that's my favorite bridge word to go into the next thing. So, on a personal level, what has changed? Because it's been a year since I've talked to you. You've done a lot of great things, but on a personal level, what do you think has changed most about yourself?
Well, I've always had a fairly strong morning routine, but I've gotten deeper into meditation. That for me has changed. It's the conversation you have in your head every day that makes the difference. And you've got to up the conversation. It's got to be a better conversation because when it's negative, and I think for a long time it was negative. So having a better, that's probably the biggest change.
Yeah. First of all, I'm a big advocate of medication.
Better living through chemistry. Yes.
Something like that. Whoops. Thank you, editing. I'm a big fan of meditation. And I've actually been kind of getting into that myself too, even if it's only like for 3 or 5 minutes a day where I sit down, just sit still. I might listen to some bells or music or something like that to keep me calm. And I find myself being able to, my brain when I first started was very loud. I always had something interrupting me up here in my head.
Yes, exactly.
And as I got moving along, I've been able to catch myself going out and then being able to come back to my breathing, being able to come to myself. But the other thing too is I find that when I'm doing my day to day, if I do start feeling myself wandering, I find it a lot easier to be able to refocus myself into what I'm actually doing. So I could tell that I'm training my brain to not so much wander off, but if I do wander off, that I'm able to refocus what I'm actually doing in front of me.
Yep.
So the meditation has been helping me a lot. And if you can't find 5 minutes out of a 24-hour day to just sit and be quiet, there's something more going on there.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you can have, trying to remember, I think it was Bob Proctor, maybe you can have reasons or you can have results, but you can't have both.
Yeah, definitely. Good words there. And the thing you touched on too is something I actually talk a lot about in my podcast recently too, self-talk. You have to be able to talk nicely to yourself. You have to be able to talk to yourself like you're talking to a good friend.
Yes.
Because if
be your own best friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you have to be your own best friend before you can be somebody else's best friend. That's kind of the way I feel about that.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Oh, good. Okay. So we're gonna look at this a little different way on a professional level now. In the year that we've talked what has actually changed in the last year?
Well, I published a book on Amazon in August that got bestseller status. And then I launched my course. I've done a lot of individual coaching sessions. I've done several in-person workshops that I do here locally in the greater Grand Rapids area. My favorite thing to do is probably what I call your captivating 60-second intro. And that has been really well received. So I plan to continue to offer that to maximum. The room only holds 10 people, but for our purposes of really diving in to each individual's 60-second, giving them an opportunity to work on that and practice, it's been the perfect size group.
That's great. That's awesome. What else? Anything else you think of that might have changed over the last year?
Well, my husband and I love a good road trip, so I was able to schedule some speaking engagements and coordinate some road trips. And we've got a couple other ones coming up, so that I'm excited about. And this will not be a road trip. This will be a flight trip, but I'll be speaking at a summit, and a summit's not quite the right word, a 2-day event in Las Vegas in November.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know where that's going to be held at?
It's the Industrial, I think is the name of the property. It was not a familiar venue to me, but it's an event venue that I want to say is probably on the north end of the strip, close to downtown. I'm not certain. I know I Googled it and looked it up.
No, that's okay. I just want to say if there's anybody in the area there in Vegas at that particular time, I want them to look you up and find you so they can hear you speak. Something that's came across to me, especially in speaking lately, over the last 2 or 3 months, I've done deep dives into what I call the 4 hurdles of stop. And the 4 hurdles to stop are imposter syndrome, perfectionism, failure, and fear. These are the 4 more common things that people come across that stop us from getting started in their entrepreneur adventure. Mm-hmm. And I feel that especially when it comes to public speaking of any sorts, that imposter syndrome seems to be the one thing that hits most speakers. And I would like to get your take on that.
Yeah. So the question I would encourage people to ask is, if not now, when? And if not you, who else can share your story? No one else can share your story. And stop waiting for for timing to be right, because timing will never be right. You just have to take the leap of faith. And if you're being pushed, if the universe is calling, whatever term you want to put on it, if you've been given an assignment, I think we're all given an assignment that we feel, and we need to act on that, because if you don't, and I believe it was the woman who, I'm trying to think of her name. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, but then I listened to a couple of her books and she's a podcast. Elizabeth, can you help me with her name? Anyway, people know who she is, I'm sure.
I'll put it in the show notes, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. She talked about an author friend of hers. She talked about being given this idea for a book, and she just didn't pay attention to it. And then time went by, and then she was talking to an author friend of hers who was writing a book going to be published. The book was going to be published. It was a very similar storyline. And she said, I didn't act on it, so the universe found somebody else to do it. I think that it's just, I just thought that was so interesting. I'm like, yeah, if you don't act on the message you're given, it will go someplace else. So you need to act.
I can't count how many times that I've thought about an idea or something's come across my head. Oh, that would make a great product, or that would make a great talk, or anything like that. And then I just don't do anything with it. And then, like, not more than a couple months later, I found it on TV, or I found it on the radio. I heard about it in another podcast. I was like, man, that was my idea. Why didn't I do anything about it? And you're right. The universe, if you're not going to do it, the universe will find somebody that will get that message out there. So why not just let it be you?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now, in the year that, it's been, we all come across problems and pitfalls and things like that. I was wondering if you had any kind of pitfalls or problems in that year that since we've talked last, that you maybe could speak of.
Well, sure. I think the biggest challenge maybe for many people, I had coffee with another entrepreneurial friend this morning, and she said it's always trying to decide what's the best use of your time, and where do you focus your time, energy, and effort, because there's so many opportunities that do exist, which is going to have the biggest payoff. And I was listening to something the other day that talked about the difference between a choice and a decision. And that a choice is like, what are you going to wear? What are you going to eat? That kind of thing. But a decision has consequences. And even if you make that decision and things don't go well, you can always regroup. My coach continues to tell me, look at everything as an experiment and avoid getting attached to the outcome, because I really get attached to the outcome. Mm-hmm. Like I think I want this to work. And I spoke to a group and expected people to sign up for a call with me. No one signed up. But the process of speaking to the group, the process of the opportunity to have that happen, and then just the process of preparing for that talk and delivering that message was in and of itself the reward, and not necessarily what's going to come back to me. And who knows, it's recorded, it's in the archives of the community, and somebody may come across it and book a call. You never know.
Yeah, at least you're putting something out there at that particular point. And I had my virtual mentor on my podcast finally, Pat Flynn, and that he told me that somebody told him, it's kind of the same idea as you, that you don't want to count likes, but you want to count reps, right?
Yes.
You want to count how many times you've put this particular podcast or episode, the process of putting that episode, the process of getting on that stage, how you talk to the people to be able to get on that stage to begin with is going to be relative to how you get onto the next few stages. So it's not so much as the people that you're talking to out there. Of course, you want them to react or buy or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. But the process of getting to that point is almost as important as getting the people to buy from you.
Yes, I think, and that's the interesting thing, Jesse, that I've learned to appreciate. And maybe you can say it's the process, it's the journey, but it's not the end, but it's what you're doing to get there, what you're working towards, if that makes any sense. Because I think we always feel like, ooh, when I have this X, whatever X is, when I've delivered, like when I finish this book, when my book is published, or when I speak on that stage, or when I do this, it's like, no, there's always something more. And you're never finished. So enjoy that process of creation, of learning, of viewing it as the next step, viewing it as growth. That's what I'm learning. Because I have been very much tied to the outcome, and I'm learning to let go of that.
Good. That's good. Yeah, get the reps in instead, and then count those instead. So that's great. All right, this is my favorite question to ask any of my return guests that I've had on my podcast. Thinking back to 1 year ago, Leslie, what would you tell 1 year ago, Leslie, if you could talk to her right now?
Yeah, like the need for the outcome, enjoy the process, and know that you've got to do the reps. And that's okay. It'll be what it's supposed to be, but just enjoy those opportunities. It's like enjoying this. If somebody would see this and we have book a conversation with me, that's fantastic. But knowing that just you and I having this conversation, that's so much fun for me. And that opportunity to come back a year later, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I do this most, is just to hear the hero's journey of the people that I talk to and see where it took them over the last year and what kind of changes have happened and what positive things and negative things too that could possibly happen that we can learn from in that particular amount of time from the same person that's actually lived it. I mean, we could talk about one person's experiences and that kind of thing, and okay, that's nice, and this is their story. But to be able to hear from that same person again after a certain amount of time, to see that their actual experiences and journey through that particular time, and it's kind of fun to go back to the old episode and listen and hear the differences and the speaking, and the way they talked, and that kind of thing too. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's the power of time travel in our own way.
Yeah, really, it is. That's very cool.
Okay, so there's the so again. All right, so what I'd like to do here with you, Leslie, is I want to do this again, but we're going to, instead of saying 6 months, I think we're just going to say a year this time, because that's about how much I did last time. So for you and your company in the next year, what would you like to accomplish?
Well, I'd like to have my course picked up delivered in organizations, so that I can really make a difference in teams, especially teams of people who maybe stereotypically shun the spotlight: accountants, engineers, IT professionals, people who rather work behind the scenes but know that their ability to communicate in person or on Zoom, but face to face, whatever that is, whether it's like this face to face or in a conference room face to face, will make a difference for them in their career, because I want to help them make that difference.
All right. So courses for organizations. Anything else?
And then just continuing the individual coaching work and group workshops I'm doing here.
Okay. Awesome. So we're going to follow up with you in a year.
Okay.
And see if we've got those courses in the organizations and different organizations. I'm excited to see who picks those up, because I'd like to see how that works out.
Yes, I am too. I've got a couple irons in the fires. Nothing's dropped yet, but I'm hopeful. So, and again, can't get attached to the outcome. You just got to keep putting it out there and keep offering it up and keep talking to people. So
sometimes I had another follow-up interview, as a matter of fact, from a gentleman named Spencer. And he said something similar to me, but he said, start acting like it's already happening now.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you start thinking like it's happening now, your brain looks for what you want it to look for.
Yes, that's true.
Just kind of how it works. So
how it works, yeah.
I've, over the last week or so, actually, I've been doing that and finding myself a little more energetic and more positive things happening to me all kinds of different ways, because my brain now is specifically saying, okay, it's happening now.
Yeah.
So now everything around me is happening now. So we're going to see where that takes us, but I just wanted to kind of throw that in there.
Very cool.
All right. Leslie, this is your time to shine now. This is the time I want you to advertise yourself, how we get a hold of you and the course and all that good stuff. Okay. Ready, set, go.
All right. Well, you can find me on my website, which is lesliefiorenzo.com, or you can reach out to me on social media, specifically LinkedIn would be a great place for us to connect. You find my books on Amazon. You could find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I create video content there weekly if you want some free resources, and would just love to have a conversation. Book a call.
All right. Leslie, it's been amazing to have you back on the podcast. This has been an absolute blast, and I'm really excited to see where the next year takes us. Both of us.
Me? Yeah, I didn't get to ask you what's changed, but I know a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, what's changed for me is I've put out almost 200 episodes now. I hit my 3-year goal on the podcast.
Fantastic.
I'm putting together a course myself.
Awesome.
And it's basically to help people get started. It's the basics of just getting started in the business so they can get their foot in the door, get across the start line, like I talked about. I've been on 2 stages, and I'm working on the 3rd one now. That one's going to be, if all else works great, that will be at PodFest in 2026.
All right.
So, and that's kind of the stuff that's been going for me. And by next year, I want to have quit at least one of my 2 jobs minimum. I'd really like to quit both jobs and do less full time, like you talked about.
Yeah.
And I would like to have at least 3 to 4 constant coaching clients, and probably have at least the first draft of a book.
Awesome.
So I have my fingers crossed for all that good stuff. Thank you, Scuba Relievers, for letting me get that out there, because I haven't really talked about that much.
Hey, now that you said it out loud.
I know. Now it's got to happen. Oh, no. Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right, Leslie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. We will follow up with you in about a year. All
right. Awesome, Jesse. Thank you.
All right, Scuba Believers, make sure you stay tuned for the wrap-up. Okay, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, Scuba Believer. That was Leslie Fiorenzo. It's so good to be able to catch up with her and see the new things that are happening to her, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next year of progress for her. We talked about a lot of amazing things and a lot of things that really kept me going, but there are 2 major points I really want to touch on and make sure you understand this. Stop waiting for perfect timing and claim your unique story now. No one else could share your story the way you can. The timing will never be just right. If you don't act on the assignment the universe has given you, it will find someone else to do it instead. And it's so true. How many times, just like I said in the podcast, how many times we saw the one thing that we were thinking about and then somebody actually has done it already, and you thought to yourself, Why didn't I take action? Why did I not try to do it now? And I think that's why it's so important. When I talk about things in my podcast, we talk about doing it now, so someone else doesn't do it before you do. Focus on the reps, not just the results. Every action you take, every stage that you step on, every conversation you have is building your strength and skill. The process of growth and creation is just as valuable as the outcome that you're actually chasing. The things that we learn along the way is almost as important as the outcome that we're trying to get to in the first place. Make sure not only are we taking action here, but we're learning during the process of getting to where we're trying to get to go. And that's important. So the time for excuses is over. The time for action is now. Just like I always say, I can, I am, I will, and I'm doing it today. And with that, Screw Believer, I want to say thank you very much for this episode. I can't wait to catch you on the next one. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Do you find yourself faltering when speaking in public? You definitely know what you're talking about, but you just can't seem to get over the horrific fear, and imagining people in their underwear is just not working. Whether you're gearing up for a big presentation or just looking to improve your daily communications, Leslie Fiorenzo is your go-to resource for mastering self-promotion, facing your audience fearlessly, and communicating with authority. Don't miss out on your opportunity to elevate your game. Contact Leslie Fiorenzo now or go to tuepodcast.net/speak to step into the spotlight with confidence. Your adventure in public speaking mastery starts here and now. Don't wait to get your voice heard. Book your free consultation at tuepodcast.net/speak to start your adventure in speaking excellence today.